Okay. Okay, I'm somewhere here. I'll talk to somebody. How you doing?
Not bad, Charles.
And you are the mayor of Mayor Woodside. I had a couple of people on my blog asking me about the city paid $500,000 to buy the North Star strip joint in Fredericton North. Can you explain that?
Well, I think the cost of that acquisition was about 1.5 acres of property, of which the North Star was part of. So it's not just for that particular one piece of property. And you look at real estate prices and what people are paying for homes in here. I mean, it sounds like we've spent a whole lot of money, but it was a strategic acquisition on behalf of the city, recommended by staff. It gives us an opportunity to clean that portion of property up in its totality and make it available to the building community, which will actually generate some tax revenue as opposed to the $7,000 we were getting. So I think in the not too long term, that investment will bring money back to the people of Fredericton. It's not going to be a cost.
Is it true that the police chief suggested that you...
You know what, Charles, we get a lot of briefings from the police, and when I get briefed from the police department or the police force on criminal activity in this city, it stays behind the closed doors. So I'm briefed on a number of things that are going on in the city.
Like bloggers going around?
I have to be briefed, and the chief briefs council periodically. But I mean, this deals with crime prevention. It deals with criminal activity. It's not the kind of thing that you talk about publicly, because obviously they have a strategic plan to deal with some of the things we're dealing with. So that has nothing to do with anything that I'm saying right now. And if it was a private session, then that's the way it's going to stay. And
in the long run, if, of course, people talk, and it was all over, if this group was going to buy it, and they're known to be associated with crime, could this be like an investment from the city point of view?
Well, I'm not so sure. I mean, I think if somebody wants to come in here bad enough, they're going to come in here. And I mean, you just can't be going around buying everything. There's a lot more to this than just that. I think it gives us an opportunity to spice up a little part of the city in a positive way, which is good for the people that live in close proximity to that whole property. And, at the outset, first of all, I think it's important to note that the people who owned the facility and owned the bar wanted to sell. They approached the city. We didn't go over and say, look, we want to buy this and shut people out of work and all of that. They came to us. They said they're interested in selling. The family is. They're not interested in keeping it any longer. So we looked at it just as we would any other proposal. What really gave this legs is the fact that the North Star is there. And as I said, the city is not in the business of operating bars, no matter what kind of bar they are. We just don't do that.
There'll be no more strip joints here in Fredericton. That's it, right?
You're talking strip joints?
Yeah, strip bars.
Then it goes to the people. I mean, basically.
No, but I mean that is the only strip.
Well, it's the only one here. Yeah,
and after
the only one here. And I mean, you want to check, Charles. Here's a little, a little assignment for you. You check in other municipalities across the country, and this isn't the first time this happened. As a matter of fact, it's happened in Kitchener, Ontario. So I mean, this isn't something that's really.
Do we buy real estate a lot? The city?
Yeah, the city does. We buy and sell. Yeah, we have a committee that looks after that. Council approves it. This was a recommendation from that committee, which they thought looked at as an opportunity, and I don't disagree. And I mean, I know that a lot of people do disagree, but you're going to have to wait for a few years, and you're going to say, it's not all that bad. And don't get caught up on the price, because there's a lot more to an acquisition than a purchase price. It's what we are going to derive in revenues down the road, which is going to certainly outdo the so-called 150 that we spent more than what it was assessed at, which is another kind of a problem too. When you go into the government book and you see what it's assessed at, well, if you own a home, you're going to sell it for that? I don't think so. It's going to be, when you sell it, it's going to be more than that assessed value. There's an assessed value, there's an appraised value. So, this isn't a bad deal.
A couple of people told me if they could spend $500,000 on the strip joint, How come they can't give a couple of bucks to the shelter?
Well, you know, nothing has to do with anything else when we do something. I mean, that's always the argument, isn't it? I mean, you're paving the trail, why don't you give the emergency shelter $1 million? You're building sports and leisure complexes, why don't you get more buses? You know, this is a big organization, and it's too simplistic to say, well, rather than do that, why don't you do that? And that's not how you solve the problems. Everything's looked at independently, based on its own merit. And I can tell you, if we didn't do this over here, that doesn't guarantee that that's what we're going to do over here. I mean, that's the way people think it works. And we've been criticized for years, and so is every other city. If something you don't like, then you say, well, why are you spending money there when you could have did this? And, you know, that's always comparing apples to oranges, and it's just...
What do you see? You're a smart man at times. What do you see in place of that bar? What do you see? Do you see selling property, condo?
You know, I think we work within the rezoning, within the zoning of the area. We work with the developers of the area. If it's a great opportunity for them, then it turns out in the end to be a win-win situation. You have a developer who develops the property, who is making some money. That money, in part, comes back to the city in the way of you know, taxes, which enables the city to continue to grow. I mean, that acre and a half in the north side wasn't generating a whole lot of money. I'm talking $7,000 a year. You compare that to the building across the street on Union Street, which is generating 150. So you know what? This is taxpayers' money. So you spend a little bit to make a lot more, and that was our intention, and that's exactly what's going to happen. And time will tell.
Thank you very much.